everybody. Welcome to Media Club. Oh my gosh, I just lost my whole train of thought right there. Yep.
Got some water?
We're keeping it.
Yeah, oh no, we're keeping it. We're keeping it.
That's where the technical difficulty, and then hard cuts.
It's like that dog GIF. He was like,
GIF. Thank you.
Yeah, GIF.
We're not starting this today.
I'm not gonna be bullied. I'm not gonna be peer pressured. I'm standing my ground like Peggy Carter.
Anyway, hello and welcome to Media Club, the podcast where we talk about all things media related, be it book or not books, games, movies, TV shows, and everything else under the sun. Today we are joined by most of Waypoint. We got Austin, Brett, Chris, and Josh. How's everybody doing tonight?
Howdy.
Great.
Josh, you're not special. You don't get to talk when the rest of us didn't.
Okay,
you know?
sorry. I thought maybe I could just.
Why don't you just hold it? And he's like, "You said my name."
I know. I thought I was last. I thought I could do something. Okay.
Why don't you just rein it in a little bit? You know.
All right.
He saw his moment. He took it.
Yeah.
I gotta respect it.
Yeah, you know, he went for the power play. You already run the Twitter. I don't need it here. You know, you just keep it over there.
I was thinking. I was just thinking maybe we shouldn't share that he runs a Twitter, but it's pretty fucking.
Everybody knows.
It's pretty obvious. Yeah.
If they didn't know, then they didn't know Josh to begin with.
That's on y'all.
They're living better.
Exactly.
They're living good lives.
We got a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the meat of the show. So we're going to be recording on the weekend of April 10th, a podcast that we're talking about content creation and sort of the mental health and how that affects it, and even talking about burnout. So if you're a content creator and you want to send something in, your thoughts in, please send it to us over waypointpodcast@gmail.com. We'd like to have those by April 9th, so that way we can edit them together, so that we can react to them on the show. Also, we are going to give you some updates on the Fantasy Critic League. So,
Before we jump into it, I do just want to reiterate, like, for the mental health thing, if you do want to send that in, we're just like for a video clip, like, what do you want, like 30 seconds to a minute long, just talking about like your.
There's no hard limit,
and
but
experiences with. It's like maybe don't send us like a 10-minute thing, but just kind of like your personal experiences, like with burnout, your thoughts, how you dealt with it, like that sort of thing.
And
Awesome, yes.
if they want to be anonymous,
then you can just send an MP3 or just not have your.
Right.
We'll turn like the whole thing like really dark so you can't see the face, and then down pitch it like real low.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't tell who the voice is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering because I mean some people might want to share, but not want to share like that's their actual, you know. So
They can just write in then, right?
That's
what I was
true.
thinking as well.
Yeah, you can also write in.
We can read it.
Yeah, not use your name if you just say you don't feel comfortable with that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'd love
Waypoint
to.
approved.
We'd love to hear your thoughts because mental health is a very serious issue. So,
Absolutely.
anyway, on to Fantasy Critic League. We got Jordan's team sitting at 1 point.
Love
He's not here with us today.
I don't
He's
think
not in last.
Goodbye, rattlesnake.
I don't
to you, buddy.
think he's added anything because the last thing he has on his team was Mario Golf Super Rush, which I think he had the last time we went over this.
Which is a good take.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
super jealous he got that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I tried for it. He got it before me.
Yep.
Good take.
Then
He's gonna
we've
need
got.
it too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Destruction
fuck you,
All-Stars didn't really help at all.
Yeah.
That's on him, man.
Then we got Chris's team, Rumble Champ 92. He with his first points of the year with Monster Hunter Rise at 17
Let's go.
points.
Let's go, baby.
I'm not gonna lie. That I was shocked I got an 87. Shocked.
I'm not, man.
I'm
Monster
not,
Hunter is
yeah.
really highly regarded.
I expected like a 7.
World did really well. Like, what was it, like 85 to 90, if I remember right?
Yeah, World did well, and this builds off of what World did. I actually bought
Yeah.
it last night.
Same.
I mean, from what I can tell, someone else is absolutely shocked as well, but we'll get to him later.
Yeah. Then Chris, he's also made a couple additions. He added Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade and Sifu.
Yeah, baby. I can't wait for
Sifu.
Sifu. I'm so excited for that game, dude.
I can see Sifu being a risk, though. To be
fair.
Yeah.
But you know, it was too cool to not get.
Right.
100%. It's worth the risk. 100%.
Now, I'm sitting at 16 points with only Hitman 3, but I've got a game that's coming out. It'll be in the past when this comes out, but Outriders is coming out. I picked that up a bit later, but I also picked that up before it was announced it was coming to Game Pass. So now that it's coming to Game Pass, I'm pretty excited about that. I gotta dig out my Xbox One X now because it's only on Game Pass for Xbox, not PC. So I'm a little pissed about that.
Travesty, I tell you.
All right. I just pulled a Gary Whitta and I was miles away. What game are you talking about?
Outriders.
Okay, got it.
Miles away, bro.
Miles away.
But then the game I picked up last night, Life is Strange True Colors.
Ooh. Another risk, but I like it. I like the bargain.
Those always seem to do pretty well.
Do they? I think I thought the first one got like 78 or something like that, but I could be wrong.
I mean, that's still 8 points.
I mean, you're right. 8 solid points right there. Boom.
Yeah, so I only spent $1 on it. So I've got a lot of those games I only spent $1 on. So I've still got a pretty good budget going into the rest of this year, even though I've only got one open slot. But yeah, I got some games I could drop depending on if they
like $80 on it or whatever.
Exactly.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but this time around it's one game. Like it's not episode 1, episode 2. Right?
Yeah. This time they're dropping it as a full release.
It's all Okay. Which I completely forgot to even think, or even think about picking that game up. But then I saw one of our friends, Frankfurter, in their league. He shouted out that he picked that up. So I'm like, in their Discord, I just like rushes over to Waypoint League.
Like, hold on a second.
And then my counter pick got 0 points. Is Gotham Knights will not release.
Rest in peace.
Womp womp.
Yep, will not release in 2021. I should say.
Never coming out. Canceled. Will not release.
It's like that
Robert
Wu-Tang album.
and I are crying.
Yeah, I mean, I am too a bit because I wanted to play that.
It looked good. I'm not losing sleep over it, but it looked good.
Exactly, yeah. Next, we've got Austin we got Naughty Cat. So he's got all 13 slots filled, so no new additions.
Oops.
But Super Mario 3D World got him 19 points.
Damn.
Dead Cells Fatal Falls got him 16 points. Little Nightmares 2 got him 13 points. And It Takes Two, which came out this past Friday, got him 17 points. So he's got 65 points already this year.
It's almost like you write for a company that talks about indie games or something.
What? Something like a 6-1 indie? You heard of that?
Huh?
Oh, no, me neither. No, never.
And finally, we've got Josh, who has Gotham Knights, will not release.
Womp womp.
And then, so that's a big fat 0. And because I counterpicked that game, he cannot drop it.
Double want want.
And he's about to have a triple want want because Monster Hunter Rise was his counterpick, and so he lost 17 points.
I was checking in on the scores. Like
Jordan counterpicked it.
No, Josh.
Josh counterpicked it.
Josh counterpicked it.
Why would you counterpick Monster Hunter?
Coming off
insane person.
Coming off the hot mess that is the movie, I was like, "There's no way."
The game, that's the games are entirely different, dog.
Oh, games are good.
I know, but
the movie was shit. There's no way the next game's gonna be good.
I'm like, the movie was so bad, it's got to tank the franchise, bro. Like, rest in peace, Monster Hunter. This is a dead game, dead franchise, and quite the opposite fucking happened. Just a shitty movie and a great fucking game.
It's really good.
Josh, this could not have started worse for you. Like,
Yeah,
one of your heavy hitters gets delayed out of the year, and then your counter pick gets 17, so you're at negative 17.
His
oof.
his interesting opinions are bleeding into him. Games and
He's still got Lego. He's still got Skywalker Saga. So
absolutely, I plan on making it come back.
That Skywalker Saga, that's a risk though.
So
it could be shit.
It's a slam dunk.
It's not gonna be, but it could be.
It's a slam dunk.
Game. Those game, like I'm super excited for this game. I think it's going to be the best Lego Star Wars game or Lego game ever, just period. But historically, those games have gotten like mid-70s kind of reviews, so they've not been.
They're around Little Nightmares, which is like 82, 83.
Yeah.
So, and just for the record, for those watching, Brett was not part of Waypoint when we started this, so Brett is just sitting here listening to us talk about a league that he's not in.
Yeah, sorry, homie. Next year.
No, it's fine. I like listening. Just
the trash talk.
You can join my team. We're looking for hires.
Josh counterfeit Monster Hunter Rise. I was like,
we should just somehow give him free picks.
One of Capcom's highest selling franchises. Yeah. Like, nah, next one's gonna be garbage.
We should give him free picks and then just call his team Josh and Brett.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll take it.
Josh has the most slots out of everybody, so
I know.
If he
waiting
wants
for the
to.
second half.
Also, my round 1 pick was Breath of the Wild 2, and I'm very worried about that.
Yeah, that one.
It said it's not coming out this year.
Right? They never
haven't
permanently said that.
Exactly.
Not official
they said they
yet.
weren't talking about it yet.
Likely.
They've kind of hinted that it's very possible it won't. But yeah,
I bet $1 billion it's not going out this
I'll
year.
take that bet.
Billion with a B.
So if I also take that vote, is that $2 billion?
No, split it. We'll split it.
What? What? You and me?
You can take your $500 million.
No, I'll take it.
Actually, no. Wait, no. Hold on.
I mean, I get $1 billion from y'all then. So.
This bet sucked ass.
I don't like this game.
So now, it's been a while since we've done a media club, or just a general media club, so what's everybody been playing and watching?
I'm glad you asked, because last night, at the time of recording, today's the 28th, I downloaded and installed and played until 4 a.m. the one and only Monster Hunter Rise. Which Josh said would be terrible.
Tutorial the game?
I'm still holding out on it.
So actually, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned tutorial. Like the dumbass that I am. It starts you out like you have like your 1-star missions or whatever that you got to do, and after a point, it's like I keep getting this notification. It's like, hey, you have one mission left before you can move on to the next set, and I couldn't like find it anywhere because I would open the missions and it would gives you the option. It's like 1-star missions, and then you have like there's a type of mission that's just called like an expedition where you can just kind of like free roam in one of the areas or whatever. And I thought that the only mission I had left was this expedition, which I'd already completed and didn't need to go back out there for and stuff. I didn't realize you had to click the 1-star missions for the menu to drop down and actually give you the list of missions that you had. And so I ran that expedition mission like 4 times, like trying to figure out what I missed and just grinding a couple monsters for new armor pieces. So I've got some really nice gear, and I've just been stuck at the beginning of the game. Didn't realize that my own incompetence was preventing me from moving on. But it's really fun. I'm not particularly like too into the Monster Hunter series like in the past. I didn't play World. I played 3 Ultimate on the 3DS for a little while, and it didn't jive with me. But they cut all of the bloat that I didn't like out of the games, and it's just like, hey, you just want to fight big monsters. That's what this game is, and it's like, yeah, I couldn't be happier with that. I can't wait to start running multiplayer missions in it. Like that's gonna be so much fun.
Can you imagine if like you didn't like the beginning of it and you're like, this game sucks because that's all you played?
That was it. Yeah, I was like, yeah, fuck this game, dude. But it's really cool. I've been running the dual blades. It's real fast.
That's what I tested out too.
Yeah. I've got a cool like sword and shield build that I'm working on right now, and it's just I'm having a good time. Like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I picked it up. I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet, but
ooh, we should run it.
Yeah.
I've heard that it has a mechanic where you can like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can like get up really quickly, and it kind of changes like the combat from like past games, and it makes it kind of easier, more fast paced.
I wouldn't call it easier, but it is faster. So there's this whole, they call it a wire bug mechanic. It's essentially, it's like they give you like a I liken it to like Spider-Man like web zipping around. Because essentially you throw this thing out and it grabs it, and you pull on it and you yank yourself and you go flying. But yeah, it's literally a bug that you like grab out of the air or some shit, whatever. But But it's like, yeah, if you get knocked back, you can press like left trigger and B, and it'll throw you right back in. You can even do like a mid-air attack, like right back in. If you have your weapon sheathed, you can also use that to move around. And there's a couple weapons like specifically that have like really strong aerial attacks and stuff. And so you kind of work with those in tandem, and it makes it really fast. It's really cool. There's a whole like trap mechanic along with the wire bugs now too, to where you can like after you get them weak enough, you can like pin monsters to the ground for a bit using that. You can also, if you're like trying to hunt one particular monster and then there's another one in the area, they'll actually like start fighting each other. But if you weaken down the other one, you can use the wire bug to jump on top of it and ride it, and then use that monster to attack the one that you were after. It's really cool. It's so much fun.
Yeah,
you get to ride like a giant, like angry beaver attacking like a giant lizard. It's so rad, dude.
Yeah, monster on monster action. Love it. Love to see it.
As you get that hot monster on monster action, baby, right there on MH Rise.
Good lord.
I will go next if no one else wants to.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So I dipped into the backlog, and I started Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Such a good game.
I am like 35-ish hours in, and it's funny because I almost gave up on it like 5 hours in.
So the tutorial.
Literally, and like 5.5 hours in, I started like clicking with the combat, and I've pretty much stuck with the same few like power ups or whatever, where you like you map your little skill tree stuff.
That's
I
kind
pretty
of
much
the
stay
same
with
way.
those, and I just kind of beefed them up, and then I've like built around those things. Like I love Spartan kicking people. You're just like, and they just go flying. I love sneaking up on people and punting them off the like the cliff. Yeah, that's great. But Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a game that to me is like Skyrim next gen. Like like Assassin's Creed, you don't really think of like open world RPG, but like it's a really damn world RPG. Like it, I don't know if there are comparisons that can be made that aren't Skyrim, but it's a great game.
Witcher,
I didn't play Witcher.
The new style of Assassin's Creed, like Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, they all remind me of Witcher.
I haven't played Valhalla,
very similar.
I played Origins, which is like Baby Odyssey, and then I played Odyssey. And
Origins, I really like. Odyssey was too long for me, and I never got around to it. It was just too much. Like I couldn't get around to it. I thought it was fine, but I mean it's so massive. But that's what I'm hearing about Valhalla too, and I don't know that one. Right. Origins, I really liked.
I'm enjoying my time. I was one of the few people who did not like a Black Flag. Like I don't like ship combat all that much, so that when I'm traversing on my ship, I absolutely hate it. I cannot. That's the one part of the game I'm just like, can I just fast travel everywhere? And I do that as much as I possibly can.
I quit.
And then I just run to the spawn point where you can like call your ship to get that get that there. Yeah, so I just do that like repeatedly. I do not do ship combat. There's a mission. Okay, Josh, what's up?
I gotta know, who did you pick for your character? Who are you running
as?
The bad one. I picked Alexios, I know.
Oh.
I know.
You fucked up,
that's so gross. Yeah,
Cassandra's
so big time.
I've heard so much about Cassandra. Like I felt turned off to play her because like I've literally heard her entire story before, which is the same as Alexios, but like you know what I mean. Something about the performance of Alexios. It was the unknown that I went with him, and I usually choose a male protagonist just because that's what I've always done growing up.
Right.
But yeah, there's a way you can do like conquest battles, where like you weaken the territories and then you can like
those are the big like large scale battles, right? Like
and they're fun as hell.
They are so much fun.
Yeah, and they're fun as hell. I think you can pick Sparta or Athens. I think is the other one.
Yeah, it depends who you're helping in that region. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can choose whoever you want though. It's the thing. Like you can be on a mission to like overthrow a territory and give Sparta power. You can get it down to where you can take power for Sparta and then just choose Athens. I don't know why you would do that, but you can.
So the reason you can do that is if depending on which one is overthrowing who, you can get better rewards for the other side. If you defeat if you're basically the underdog and you defeat the one that has the most power, you can get better items.
Interesting.
I meant narratively, but
narratively,
yeah.
Those are things, but there was a conquest battle that is ship. It was like a ship combat,
and
I
that was fun.
It duped me. Like I was like, yeah. And I went to the camp. And I'm talking to him, and he's like, okay, let's go. You got to kill 4 ships. And I like, huh? No.
Right.
But yeah,
I died a lot during that.
It's great. It's Skyrim 2.0 in my opinion. So.
One thing I want to ask you about, because this is a bit of a hot take. I know pretty unusual for me, but I prefer the cult system over the Nemesis system from Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. What do you think about the cult system in that game?
So I think, like you said, the game is too long. Chris said the game is really too long for him, so I've only
Mhm.
kind of barely touched the surface of that. Like I've
Okay.
unmasked one person. Like I have clues for a bunch of
Mhm.
them, and I can see their face, but I've only like taken care of a few people,
Right.
so I can't really give you a surefire way on that. And I haven't played Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor or whatever the
At
hell.
least play Shadow of Mordor. It is very good, but
Yeah.
but
if
I
you
don't
want like Assassin's Creed, Lord of the Rings, like Shadow of Mordor is really good.
right.
1,000%.
But the Nemesis system, I've heard good things about it. They even tried to trademark it, or I think they did trademark it. But
They
I think
tried.
they did.
I think they did. I think they finally
They
succeeded.
did.
Is the thing.
Oh yeah, because I remember people getting upset
Mhm.
that now other studios can't use that, and
Yeah.
it would have been.
But
cool to
I've heard good
actually
things
talk
about that, but I have not experienced it firsthand. so I
Dude, the
can't
Nemesis system
do a
is something
comparison.
else, man.
It really is, yeah.
Like to kind of boil it down, it's such a unique thing to where it sort of creates narratives in a game that where they aren't like pre-programmed for lack of a better word. It's like you kind of get to make these like personal narratives. Like I had this one orc who throughout the game you can actually like you can kind of study characters and learn their weaknesses and stuff. So when you go into battle with them, you can hit them with that. So I had one who was like weak to who was like deathly like afraid of fire, like I absolutely hated it. If you exploded something and it started a fire, he would actually run and flee the battle. Like
Oh my gosh.
And
yeah,
and you chose that, or that was already like a pre-made thing for him?
that was a pre-made thing. But I got in there, so I blew him up with an explosive barrel because he was also weak to fire. And so the next he ends up coming back, and he's covered in like bandages, and you can see like burns like across him underneath. And suddenly the fire weakness gone. Like just
really cool.
it didn't exist anymore. He's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck you, not afraid of fire anymore." And that was just sitting there, and he's like, "Uh-oh, he doesn't have any more weaknesses."
So they take a branching narrative choice thing and they put it directly into the gameplay rather than
Yeah.
just narrative. Yeah.
Yeah, but it can also I've had it go the other way sometimes where if like one is like weak to fire or whatever, and you blow him up with a thing, suddenly the next time you fight him, he's afraid of fire because he got burned in that first fight. I once decapitated an orc, and he came back and his head was like strapped back onto his body. It was like bandaged back on.
Yeah.
Or like
Just
you
like
take,
stuff like that. Like it's like those little things are so
or you
cool.
take off their arm and then they're like super pissed the next time you fight them.
Yeah.
They'll have like a big like metal arm instead, and they just fuck you up. They're super aggressive. Like it's cool. I wish
It
more
is.
games could have used it if WB wasn't stupid.
So just two more quick notes. Two other games I don't want to take too long on, but I started. I don't play Legend of Zelda. That's just it's not my thing. I feel like it's a game I need to play like with a guide because like growing up I just never played them. So like to me they're just kind of too mysterious. Like I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing most of the time. But I started playing Link's Awakening, the remake, and I love that game. That's a really good game. I found out that I really like the dungeons in that game. Like if you give me like just dungeon after dungeon after dungeon of that game, I'd probably play it. So that's great. I was very surprised with how much I enjoy that game. I took a break from it just because Odyssey is like huge, and I want to finish that.
Yeah.
But and then I am playing a game for review. It's already out, so I can talk about it. But Mundan, it's an indie game, of course, because it's 6-1 indie. But it's like a hand drawn horror game, and it's absolutely the best game I played this year.
Interesting.
Hand drawn.
Hand drawn. Look it up. It's
like
freaking
Cuphead?
fantastic. No, not that style. It's more like sketchy hand drawn.
Interesting.
How do you spell it?
Mundaun. There's some goats in there. There's a mysterious old man who tricks people. And I cannot like I'm gonna write a full review, so I don't want to say too much about it. But there are things that that they implement into the game that could have been so easily like messed up because it's hand drawn, but somehow it just works and it makes sense and it's fun. Like in a hand drawn game, you think like maybe you can't really tell what things are. Maybe you have to kind of get really close to understand what like where on the map you need to go. I never once felt that way. Like I was living in this world and it was super freaking cool. Check it out.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It's pretty cheap too. Where's your time?
So go real quick. I know a couple of us have been watching. Invincible just dropped this past Friday as of recording.
I forgot what I've been watching, but yes, that's freaking
it's
incredible.
so good.
That first
Like,
episode.
I'm 2 episodes in, so don't talk about the third one.
Right. I know Josh watched all 3 of them yesterday. I watched the second and third yesterday, and
yeah, I'm gonna finish that up tonight. because I was blown away at how much I liked it.
So for me, I'm just gonna say I have not read the comics yet. It's something it's downloaded, installed. I just have not read it yet. So I'm waiting until this first season is done, and I'm gonna read right through that because I love this show. The animation, it reminds me of just classic '90s superhero shows like X-Men, Spider-Man. So
there's something about the art style that reminds me of like the old Justice League cartoons.
Yep.
I was gonna say the art style to me literally reminds me of comics.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, which is clearly what they're going for, but like I think they nailed that style. I
From
will
what
say
I've seen,
that
like so many of the shots are they like perfectly recreate like a bunch of the panels and stuff too. Like
his suit looks so good.
I wasn't sold on the show until the finale of episode 1, like the last 10 minutes or so, and I was like,
the last minute,
I'm in. Yeah, it might have been like a minute, but it was longer than that, I think.
that basically the end credit scene.
Was that after the credits? Was it?
It was technically after the credits. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene, I'm in. I don't care what happens. I'm in. I want to see this through. They got me. That's a great premise. I love it.
In fact, what we're talking about stuff that we're watching, I've been so big on Invincible that I finally started season 2 of The Boys today.
Ooh,
which I have not watched.
It's so
yet.
good.
So I'm 3 episodes into that right now too, and it's just
you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, dude.
Very similar.
Yeah, I just needed more like not necessarily like dark gritty, but just more like an adult superhero content. And I mean, like they're both hitting that in spades.
You should watch the Snyder Cut then if you want that dark gritty superhero content.
How about?
Yeah, and as for games, I've actually just recently got a new 144 hertz monitor, so I've been playing a lot of PC games in that high, buttery smooth refresh rate. So with EA Play recently coming to Game Pass on PC, thank God, I've been waiting for so long. I've actually gone back to play Fallen Order.
Ah, what a great game.
Ooh, and right now, because I played it when it came out, I had not touched it since launch. And I am currently on Kashyyyk, just basically...
The first time or the second time?
First time.
Okay.
So basically just did the walker portion, and man, that game is so fun to play.
Yeah.
What difficulty are you playing
on? Jedi Knight. I think that's the same I played out my first time through.
Yeah.
I know nothing about Star Wars. Can I play this game and enjoy it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like
you will need some background information on what happens in
Revenge of
the Sith, but that's about it.
I mean, I've seen that movie. I don't remember anything. I remember you have the high ground.
I mean, you remember the whole Order 66 thing?
No.
Where the clones kill all the Jedi.
They
actually, I didn't know it was called that. I do remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was called that.
Yeah, so you'll be good then. It takes place 5 years after that movie. You play as a Padawan who survived that.
Oh,
and it's trying to live within the Empire.
Do they explain that well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a good game to where it's like even if you don't have a ton of knowledge on it, they'll kind of explain what's going on. But also, it's like if you're mega nerds like some of us, there's tons of little references and stuff too. It hits a nice balance. I would still say, I mean, you probably want to have seen Revenge of the Sith, but I mean, if you could remember that plot point, you're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can remember that. I didn't know it was called Order 66.
Yep. Then a couple other games, just real quick, that I've been playing is Apex, and I did jump into Fortnite, the Primal season, for one game today.
I still haven't played it.
That is so cool. Like one thing they do is there's animals that you can that are basically NPCs that you fight, and you get their bones that you can use to craft items or basically upgrade your weapons. And then I didn't know this, but I heard on a podcast I was listening to today that basically you can scrap cars and then get the scrap from that to upgrade your weapons as well.
Oh, that's kind of rad.
So it's legitimately crafting in Fortnite now.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Dope.
I might have to load that up.
It's really fun. It's really fun.
As someone who's not a Fortnite player, I've played it a handful of times. That game just keeps implementing new things, and apparently they keep hitting, and I'm just impressed. I'm over here watching, and I'm just impressed. So
I mostly just want to pick up the Lara Croft skin.
I think that's a Battle Pass one, if I remember.
Yeah.
Same with I think Raven from Teen Titans is also a Battle Pass skin.
That's cool.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
Oh shit! How did I not hear about that? That's awesome.
She's in the cutscene for the trailer. Yeah,
I didn't watch none of that.
Raven from what?
Teen Titans.
Teen Titans.
Yeah, but I know. But is it from Teen Titans Go? Is it from
Just
the
Teen
TV
Titans.
show?
Like,
No,
like-
it's like they usually have like an original like Fortnite design.
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah, so yeah, that's been about. I've kind of been one of those gaming ruts where I'm not really sticking with a lot, just kind of hopping from game to game to game to game. So just kind of waiting
talk
for that
about what
one
I-
to click. Yeah,
Oh
What
shit, she looks rad.
real quick?
yeah.
What I
Go ahead.
watched real quick.
That's a cool skin.
I'm up to date, I think, and that's an episode dropped today on Attack on Titan, the last season.
Ooh.
And the storytelling in that game is so freaking good. I love it so much. They're turning things on you where you're kind of rooting for the other side now, which is kind of it was kind of always a thing where you were kind of in the back of your head wondering if like these are the bad guys kind of a thing. But I'm putting it very very vaguely because I don't want to spoil
Right.
anything,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like the whole Ellie Abby thing,
Ooh.
to put it bluntly.
Ooh,
And
interesting.
they're doing it very well, in my opinion. And it's Attack on Titan, so it's dope.
I'm waiting for the dub to drop, but season 5 of MHA did drop this weekend.
I watched the first episode. It was underwhelming, but that's okay.
It's the first episode of the season.
Yeah.
Yep. And I watched.
Which they do a lot of recap in their first episodes
Yeah.
too. Like, yeah.
Yeah, they really, literally reintroduced every character.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But and I watched Invincible, like we talked about. I watched the Snyder Cut. I don't know
Hell
why.
yeah.
I don't care about that movie. I was just bored, I guess, and
It's
FOMO,
fantastic.
I guess. I don't know. But I watched it, and I was like, okay.
What's the opposite of
Cool.
FOMO?
Let's see. Fear of missing out.
No mo.
No,
No.
No motivation to watch the Snyder Cut. No, no.
Exactly. There you go.
that's where I'm at, dude. I just don't
And
give a
then,
shit.
and then my girlfriend and I started Supernatural again because there's this thing.
Ooh.
No, hear me out on this. There's this thing between her and her ex-boyfriends where every time they watch that show, they break up. She's never
Wait.
watched it all the way through with anyone.
Stay away from that show.
Yeah, that's
I'm like-
curse, bro.
I'm like, nah, we got this, and we're strong. Tomorrow,
Best of luck.
Oh my
How-
god!
It's not gonna work out.
How many? You're watching the whole show?
Yeah.
There's like what? 12
Isn't it like 10
seasons?
seasons or something?
15 seasons.
15.
Good lord.
We're on
As-
season 2.
Sheesh.
Maybe
I've seen
yeah.
it.
That's so much content, man. That's
I've seen it, but we always start a show and then we never finish it. And I know I'll finish this one because I know I like this show. And she
this is the one you're gonna finish. The 15th season.
of all things. But yeah, so I'm stoked to rewatch it. I've only watched it all the way through once. So
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
That was a show I remember watching like in middle school once, and then like 10 years later, it was like someone's
It's like
"Oh,
still
new-
there,
new
like
season," and I'm like,
season 12
what?
is starting. Yeah.
Like I just had no idea it was still like plugging along. That's cool though.
it's definitely a show that if I didn't watch it when I was younger, I wouldn't like. But because
like
I
a-
did,
Is it like a procedural kind of thing?
kind of like
Like
they
like a crime
Like-
show where there's like a crime or some
Anthology.
kind of they slowly get farther and farther away from that once the plot line like starts getting like deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. But like the crux of it is like they are hunters and they find cases to follow and kill creatures. They're like
Okay.
monsters.
Yeah.
But there's a through line of like their own personal issues, and eventually seasons down the line that kind of takes like all of the time, all of the screen time is like that plot line. But there's always like demons and stuff like that to go kill. So yeah. Also, I only watched that show because Dean is great.
Is that which one is that?
The short one. The handsome one. The most handsome one, like
The
The
human-
one-
one,
handsome.
the one with the wavy hair, or the one with like the clean cut?
the clean cut. Yeah. If you know
Beats
anything
me.
about psychology, you know that symmetry is like really attractive to like the mind. Like if your face is symmetrical, and Jensen Ackles, the guy who plays Dean Winchester, has like a super freaking symmetrical face, and I'm super jealous.
So he's just biologically like
He's a specimen.
Better.
Like
than ever.
literally gifted by God to be handsome.
He's just built different, as the kids say.
You know?
So
Yeah, I've heard them say that.
Jensen Ackles, hi. You'll never see this, but hello, I love you. And I'll shut up now.
Josh or Brett, you guys got anything you want to talk
Yeah,
about?
yeah. This is like the beginning of The Force Awakens, where it's like, who talks first? You talk first. I talk first. Like,
It's just hard to
I'm like,
understand you with all the apparatus.
Anyone but me.
apparatus. Sure, I'll go. Austin mentioned he was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm playing Better Assassin's Creed, Ghost of Tsushima.
Hey,
Started that new game plus.
yeah, baby. You
But
planning
the
on
main
hiring
thing, no, I should though. The main thing I'm rocking though is that Legends mode. Oh my god, that is something else.
You gotta do the raid.
squatting up?
I'm ready. I'm raid ready. I was raid ready like months ago.
I'm not raid
Dude.
ready, but I'm down to jump into it.
Those raids with random people are infuriating.
Have you tried to do a
I
raid?
hate it.
The raid?
I finished the first raid chapter and I was like, oh my god, like thanks for sticking out. It takes like an hour and a half with randoms. And then I made it like an hour in and 75% through the second chapter, and then everyone just dropped. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I almost have all the classes up to level 20. The co-op missions are great. Just super into this. I can't believe it was a free mode added on.
I don't
after
remember,
the fact.
yeah, especially like around the same time as like Avengers. Like, yo, we
Exactly.
can
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avengers came out the exact same time, and everyone's like, "What? This is way better."
Right? Yeah,
Man,
the
they're
gear,
not
the
I'm not raid
cosmetics.
ready yet, but do you guys y'all want to help me grind this shit out? Because I've been wanting to play the raid, but I feel like
Dude,
by the time I got to
absolutely.
Legends, it
Want to help out a noob?
Yeah,
I haven't played
absolutely,
a
dude.
minute of Legends.
Because I can, like, I'm sure we all have a class we could rank up with you. That's
Mhm.
I
not
picked
like-
it's supposed to be like the sneaky one, I think.
I picked the
The
healer.
assassin.
The
I haven't
healer's
played.
the main class.
I haven't played, but I was gonna say yeah, I'll play too. But I think it's only 4 players, so
We'll kick Josh out.
Wow, dude, I'm the one trying to get all the trophies, bro. I'm over on like PSN profile starting like a game session. I'm like, do you guys want? Who wants to play? I need 3 other players. Mike's required.
But they're making a movie. They're making a movie of Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, they are.
John Wick's director.
Hold on.
Yes.
That's all fine and great. I don't think you need to make a movie about this game.
It's just a samurai movie.
Okay,
How dare
we
you?
We have a bunch
How
of
dare you? How dare you?
them. The narrative of this game is good. It's not movie worthy. I love this game.
I
It was
see,
it was my game of the year. I love this. The best part about this game is the freaking island.
Nah, see, I think it would make a fantastic, like, because I mean, here's the thing: is like over the course of like 40 hours, it's a little thin,
Mm-hmm.
but like 2 hours, yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
think-
you can make that.
I just think this could be like the movie that breaks that barrier of like
Bad video game movies.
Exactly, because I mean, now granted, I haven't beaten the game yet, so I don't know the whole story, but just like the world building and everything leading up to it is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
I will
And-
say,
And you add the fact that John
Later.
Wick's director is
Very good.
involved.
Mhm.
I'm just imagining that club scene from John Wick.
Right.
Dude, I know, right? There's gonna be
With the
dope
camera.
action scenes in this movie, man.
That's
I
what
will
I'm saying.
say that
Just-
I'll shut up. I promise. I talk way too much.
Yeah.
I will say that if they just focused on the relationship between Jin and Ryuji, I'd watch that because I wanted so much more of that. I'm not gonna say anything else about that, but I wanted so much more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I honestly, yeah, if it's just about Jin and Ryuji, they'd be incredible. Although I think you would still need like the Mongolian invasion stuff as the backdrop for the
Sure.
their whole rift. But there's a whole thing right now to where I'm curious as to who's going to play Jin in the movie because Daisuke Tsuji, the guy who plays him
literally
in the
looks
game,
like him.
he's the face model for him. He did the motion capture for him. Like, please pick Daisuke Tsuji. Oh my god.
right.
Could you imagine if it's Tom Holland, like in the Uncharted movie?
God damn
No,
it.
they need to bring back. They need to bring back Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Sake.
No, don't cast the right person. Don't let it
Right.
go.
Here's the thing,
cast a white guy.
I will forever defend The Last Samurai, which is literally about an American soldier who washes up on the shores of Japan and learns to be a samurai. It's fine.
I agree. I
But
agree
if
with
it's
that.
Scarlett,
I'm saying.
but I mean, it's like they need an Asian actor. You could always pick Scarlett
thank
Johansson.
Anyway,
I was gonna say because like this is my first time being back at the beginning since like late January, early February. I love Lady Masako. I could go for Lady Masako movie and
That would be
Scarlett
cool.
Johansson. Let's go, Lady Masako. 2023. Let's go. In terms of what I've been watching, a little indie show. No one's probably ever heard of it. No one spoke about it. WandaVision. Binged that in one night from like 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. I just watched it one sitting.
I never heard of it.
Chef's Kiss.
God damn,
was
it's almost
good.
like we told you that for like 6 weeks.
Everyone shut up. Everyone shut up. 30-second review.
Not
Josh,
30
go.
seconds. Get as long as he needs.
No, 30 seconds. Go.
30
It's
seconds.
good.
Yeah.
It's not as good as everyone made it out to be. So far, I've liked the Falcon and the Winter Soldier a lot more. Jimmy Woo is the best part of that show. Really like that Scarlet Witch is ultimately the villain of that show too. Like, also love a lot of the themes in terms of grief.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
Yeah, whatever.
spoilers. It's been long enough. I'm probably the
Yeah,
last
I'm with
person,
you.
bro. I'm the last person.
And that time.
Yeah, perfect. And then Falcon and Winter Soldier, watching that too. Love that show so far. 2
It's
episodes
fabulous.
in.
It's
Love
excellent.
all the
Dude,
the
when they brought in, I'm gonna butcher. I don't remember the guy's name, and I don't want to call him Black Captain America, but that's what he
Isaiah.
was. Yes, that's what he was literally called in the comics. But I just want to call him Captain America because he was Captain America.
Right.
But yeah, when they brought him in, I was like, dude, this is the coolest shit I've
Oh
ever seen.
yeah, dude.
Just the whole Baltimore scene.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Excellent.
super good.
Super heartbreaking. I like that Disney's going here and touching on these topics, and I'm
I
interested.
feel like
to
it would have
see
been
more.
weird if they didn't.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, definitely. And then what hasn't been said about Invincible? Great 3
Oof.
episodes. I love the cast. That's the thing. Just like
Oh,
watching that show,
yeah.
I'm like trying to pick out who's
It's
who. I'm like,
crazy
that
good.
J.K. Simmons. That's fucking Glenn from Walking Dead.
Like,
and
I told
just,
him when we were watching episode 3, because I joined them. They were doing a watch along in a Discord, and I joined them for episode 3. And I let him know who Robot was, because he didn't realize who Robot was.
Zachary Quinto.
Yeah, I said Spock.
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, it's like I've got it pulled up here. Just some like notable ones. I mean, J.K. Simmons, Stephen Yeun, Walton Goggins, Gillian Jacobs from Community.
Goggins Hive.
Didn't pick that up.
Yeah. Fucking yeah. Zachary Quinto, Mark Hamill was Art.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Like Seth Rogen's in it. Mae
yeah.
Whitman, who is in fuck me. She's in season 2 of The
Love it.
Boys.
I love Fuck
Mhm.
Me.
like
From Austin Powers.
Clancy Brown,
Jason-
Jonathan Groff, John Hamm, Ross Marquand, Ezra Miller. Like, there's a crazy cast.
that was the first one. The first security guard pops up, and I'm like, "Motherfucker, is that John Hamm?"
Yeah, dude.
And, and then get to the end credits, I'm like, "Oh my god, it was!" And then Jason Mantzoukas is I think his
Matsukas.
name.
Yep.
He's Dennis Feinstein in Parks and Rec, and he's playing that character again. Huge douchebag. Like, dude, you just love to hate.
Plays a similar character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
I can't remember his character, but yeah, he is hilarious in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, the moment I heard his voice, I went, no fucking way.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, I know his face, I don't know his name, and I had to search up
Mhm.
Jason Mantzoukas, but
Mantzoukas,
yeah, and that's about it. Brett, take it away.
Oh, Jason Mantzoukas in the League. I don't know if you guys ever watched that.
Oh
show.
yeah, he's in the
Mm-mm.
league too. I forgot about
Dude,
that.
I've always been
is-
told about the League. Haven't watched it.
So good.
Mhm.
It's about fantasy football. So if you
Yep.
ever played fantasy football, there's definitely that added
Mhm.
layer of like comedy to it. But the show is honestly just about a group
Plus,
of
you get the
friends.
actress from Battlefront 2. Is in it? What's her name? I can't remember her name.
Janina
Sheena-
Gavankar.
Yeah, Jada Gavankar.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, she was in that, and that came out years before Battlefront, and then she showed
Yeah.
up in Wars. I was like, what the?
Oh yeah. First time I saw her like promoing for Star Wars, I went, wait a minute.
It's got Nick Kroll. It's
Mhm.
a great show. Yeah, what I've been watching, I mean, honestly, just Falcon Winter Soldier right now. I know Invincible's been new hotness, so I'll probably check that out because I love like comic book stuff.
It's
yeah,
good. It's good.
yeah,
It's very good.
because even when the comic was out, like I heard people rave about it for years. So,
Mhm.
so I've known it. I've known it's good. I just I think the show will be a great job for me to like get me hooked on that world.
Mhm.
I think before diving into the comic.
Yeah, because it's like I heard people talk about it for years. I know Greg Miller has sung its praises for years, and it's just one of those things that's been in my backlog. I just never got around to it. But then the show came out, and I went, perfect. Like, yeah, I can,
Yep.
I can watch it, and then I'll probably pick up the comics where the show leaves off, so I can get more into it. But
Exactly.
Mhm.
And then yeah, so with games, I don't know, Warzone, I play like Battle Royale, pretty frequently. But the game that I've been getting back into, and Josh knows this because I think he was watching earlier, is Battlefront 2. I've been playing that the last week.
Yes, sir.
the
couple
EA
days.
one or the OG?
EA one.
Yeah,
Um,
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's like, especially now, like at the end of its life, like it's just with content. Like it's incredible how much there is. The little things of like, you're Grievous and you're fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then they'll say not even lines from the movies, but they'll reference stuff from like the Clone Wars TV show or something, not even just strictly from the movie canon. So many game modes, so many characters. Like I really hope they do a Battlefront 3. Like I think that is something EA should get the license to again for Battlefront 3.
Well, I think they still have.
that.
I think they still have the ability to make Star Wars games. It's just now it's being opened up to other companies as well. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Battlefront 3 didn't happen. My only concern is if they do Battlefront 3, there better fucking be everything for Battlefront 2 in that game.
That's what I was exactly going to say. They need a way to start from where they're at now and not do
And
a
build
thing
on
where,
that instead of scratching it.
not do a thing
Start
where
getting
it's
the
like
TV stuff.
Yeah, start adding TV stuff, comic book stuff, book stuff. Like not start. I don't even know where they would start because like this one was all about adding all eras. Like, but if they start with like 5 maps and like only a handful, it's like that would just be a huge,
no one's gonna buy that.
Yeah.
that'd be a huge miss. So
Honestly, just port everything up there and then add like Mandalorian and Ahsoka.
Right.
Yeah.
A couple new maps like Navarro or whatever,
Whatever that town was from Mandalorian season 2.
You'd have to be more specific.
The town where they had the samurai fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
What was that?
Add
planet
Michael
called?
Biehn in it too. He's like an enforcer with a shotgun.
But yeah, trying to think about other games that I've been playing. Replaying the Mass Effect trilogy before the remasters come out.
Ooh,
He's
yeah.
replaying Mass Effect so he can replay Mass Effect.
Yep.
And like everyone knows Mass Effect trilogy is great. It's blown
Everyone
me away.
knows. It is known.
Everyone knows.
Dude, Mass Effect 2 is like the 5th highest rated game of all time or something like that. Like,
Yeah, it's because it's great. Because
It really
you know
is,
why?
yeah.
'Cause everyone knows. Everyone knows.
everyone, yeah, that's not crazy to
It
say.
is known.
But it's shocking how nobody has decided to copy the BioWare formula of having a story-based RPG that branches like multiple games with decisions. In terms of the scale of this, like I know Telltale has done smaller scale stuff, but it's been like 10 years since Mass Effect 3's come out, and
How are they
there's
supposed to monetize that?
Well,
Where
I
do they
mean,
put the microtransactions?
well,
Purchase
as,
different endings.
as you've seen with games like Ghost of Tsushima, like single player games sell, they could definitely do it in a way where it is, I think, financially feasible. Yeah, I can't believe there hasn't been a game company that's tried to create something on that scale since.
You know what's funny?
What?
You said why hasn't anyone else done that? I was like, Dragon Age
Yeah.
Hey, wait!
And
BioWare.
I'm worried about Dragon Age because they missed with Andromeda. Even though I like Andromeda, like critically, they missed with that, and then Anthem was obviously a huge success. And
It's on Game Pass now on PC, so
me and Josh are gonna get.
If you want to throw your life away.
Me and Josh are gonna get the platinum on Anthem on PlayStation. But if
Got
they mess up
13
Dragon
True, I
Age,
was there as they purchased the games.
Jeez.
Dragon Age technically hasn't had a miss yet, so that's like the last sacrosanct like.
See, Dragon Age
BioWare
just has a miss.
Yeah.
Dragon Age 2 was not received very well.
Here's the thing.
It's
Here's the
still,
thing. No, hold on. Dragon
Here's
Age
the
2 is
thing.
my favorite out of the franchise. So
Okay,
I'm not saying
Austin,
it's a
hold
bad
up.
game, but it did miss for people. It is
Let-
known.
did.
Everybody knows.
let me say this about Dragon Age 2 because I liked it when it came out, and as I don't know if you guys have read all the stories about the development of that game. Like, so when it came out, it got low 80s Metacritic, so that's good, right? But the fact that they made that game in 10 months is a freaking miracle.
Yeah,
so,
the turnaround on it is ridiculous.
So if you put that context in mind, it's a freaking masterpiece.
Also,
Like,
have you seen
that's
that
insane.
trailer?
The trailer
Back in the day.
it represents the game because like Hawk using powers that aren't even in the game, like, but it's dope. Yeah,
It's a
That
dope
trailer's
trailer.
freaking
Yeah, it's
amazing.
not the game at all, but it's cool.
It sold me on the game 100%. Like I was already gonna buy it, but I was like, this trailer is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I don't know if I'd call it like a miss. I didn't like it as much as the first one or Inquisition, but I mean,
Well,
I don't think it's a bad game.
And that's the thing is also Origins preceding 2. Origins is like one of my favorite games of all time, and I think a lot of people revere it. I don't think that's crazy to say either.
It is known.
And so going from that huge epic story from Origins and then going to 2, it's like definitely and part of Origin's success too is like you're a Grey Warder, you're part of this like elite order, and then you're just like some random person in 2. So yeah. But yeah, going back to Mass Effect, yeah, I'm replaying Mass Effect. Mass Effect 2 is still so good. The writing in that game is impeccable.
Is that where you're at so far? Are you playing 2 right now?
Yeah, so I'm probably about 70% of the way through 2. I'm basically just churning out all the loyalty missions for the crew before I go into like the end game part. And then diving into 3. I'm excited to go into 3 with ending and all. So
Yeah. Well, speaking of Mass Effect and older games, the topic of the show this week is video game anniversaries. So basically, we're going to start off. We're just going to read off from games that are turning 20 this year. I'm going to read through all of them since there's not too many, and then we can just go back through and talk about any that we have memories of. So these are the games, or I should say notable games, that are turning 20 this year. We have Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons and Ages, Final Fantasy X, Max Payne, Paper Mario, Devil May Cry, Silent Hill 2, Grand Theft Auto 3, Pikmin, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, Halo Combat Evolved, and Super Smash Bros. Melee.
The greatest video game of all time, baby. Super Smash Bros. Melee.
It's a good list.
Great list.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, Devil May Cry, Chris May Cry, because I'm getting old. I can't believe you guys are turning 20.
Halo and Melee are turning 20 this year.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like, 20? How old am I?
Right.
And then GTA 3 might be the reason I'm a gamer. Like, GTA 3 for me was like I didn't even understand that more games existed. Like, I just played GTA 3 all the time. I'd always run straight to that little that car shop, and steal that super, super nice car, drive through the glass, and I'm off. Every single time. Yeah, that game's great. Love it.
We can't underestimate with GTA like just getting into any car, because back in those days, like playing a game like most of the time didn't even have a vehicle, or you only could get into one or something like that. And
only your vehicle.
Right, and the fact that you could literally just hop into anything, it just that is.
Well, I mean, on an even broader. Like an even broader scale, just because open world is so synonymous with video games now. It's like before GTA 3, the only other open world game that I can think that did it like open world games as we know now was like Shenmue. Like, yeah. Hey, look, it was good for its time.
Play a game of Lucky Hit.
You gotta wake up and go drive your forklift every day. You don't want to be late.
I bought those games on PSN like 2 months ago, and I haven't started them yet, but I'm looking forward to them.
That's next on the list for a 30-second review.
Shenmue, hell yeah.
Shenmue? I might stream it.
I can't wait, dude. I would love to watch you play Shenmue. Oh my god. But as far as like GTA goes, it's just like open world games weren't a thing at that time. That was honestly, I think GTA 3 is kind of what put open world games on the map, despite Shenmue doing it first. But it's like GTA made it popular and refined it in a way that Shenmue had. It made it really easy to understand. Had a honestly really fun narrative.
The first 3D
like GTA was just that's true. They were top down car games before that.
Yep.
And so yeah, it was video games on a scale that we hadn't seen before. Where I mean, it was the first like sandbox where it's like, here you go, here's all of this stuff, go have fun. And games didn't do that yet. Like that was enough things can't be said about the legacy of what GTA did for modern gaming.
Oh yeah,
I think.
Absolutely. I can still remember the first time I accidentally did a cheat, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? like that magical moment where you're like, why am I holding that item? Where did this come from? And you're scrolling through your inventory, and it's like, and then you try to recreate it, and you can't.
You're like, I don't know what I did.
I have no, it just sprung up, and I was like, did I, is this supposed to be here? What did I do? I need to save. Can I save? Can you save in this game? I don't, like, I was panicking. Yeah. And then, so it added, it wasn't the first game with cheat codes, but like, it was the first one to have it just like openly easy to do a bunch of cheats.
Mm-hmm. I think, the GBA is turning 20 this year too.
Correct.
Just the platform as a whole. So my first time playing.
I feel you.
What?
I was just like, oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. GBA, man, like playing Super Mario Advance for the first time, especially like because there's that weird gap. Like we're all like what, mid-20s, so like we didn't play Mario 2 probably a lot, if at all. So playing that game like for the first time, man, it was just mind-blowing, man. I love the GBA.
That was one of my first games on. I had Rayman Advance, which was a port of Rayman on the PS1, and then also Sonic Advance, because everything was Advance.
Yep.
Like especially like early on, and Advance Wars. I had that too.
Ooh, so
we need to do Advance Wars, man.
We do.
I'm tired of the swords and man. Like, give me some guns.
Yeah, dude, I would love a new Advance Wars, and Switch feels like the perfect place for it. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Even if the game's bad, which I don't think it would be, it would sell a ton, right?
Oh yeah, people want Advance Wars.
It's been so long, and honestly, if they
last one was on the DS, like
if they
not
if
even
they just,
the 3DS, the DS.
If they just market it as the Fire Emblem studio
from the people that made Fire Emblem, boom,
yeah.
I mean, Advance Wars is what made Fire Emblem come to the U.S.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That and Melee.
Yeah. Melee.
Which, speaking of Melee,
which again, greatest video game ever made. I'm just throwing that out there right now.
Yeah, one of my. I mean, aside from just playing this game endlessly with friends, as a kid, I just remember.
It's basically a crucial.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just gonna say, I just remember because to unlock Mewtwo, you had to leave your game on or have in-game playtime just an obscene amount of time. So I remember just leaving, like turning the TV off and just leaving the GameCube on in fight. Just
well, it was either have it on for like 60 hours or something, or play like
insanely.
300 fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just remember turning the next day just like running off the edge because I just did like one stock, no time limit, and just running off, and then this challenger appears. It's like, because he was, I think, the last fighter I needed. Or was it Game & Watch? Because didn't you need like all the characters?
Yeah, I think you have to have everybody in order to get Game & Watch, if I remember correctly. But I mean, Melee, especially at the time, ultimate party game. Like I know like Mario Party and Kart and all those other things.
Pokemon battles and Smash Bros.
Exactly. There was something about Smash Bros. Melee specifically where you sat down and it's like you're just gonna get some buddies together and we just play for hours. And that was a game too, where it's like even that, like 20 years ago, that was like the go-to game anytime my friends and I hung out. 20 years later, I still fucking play Melee all the time because of its competitive scene and that sort of thing. But I mean, even a few years ago, like after my first job, we'd all close out the restaurant. We'd go to somebody's house and we'd just play Melee. Like that was just because it was so easy. All you needed was a fucking GameCube. You know what I mean? You didn't have to update nothing. It was there, and it was just it's just the movement in that game is so crisp and fluid and perfect. And there's a really nice like feeling of weight to everything that I think later Smash games haven't quite managed to hit yet. I think Ultimate's close, but it's still not the same. And I mean, it's just the music and all of the different stages and all the items.
The adventure mode.
The adventure mode. Look, I know a lot of people talk about the what's the story mode from Brawl?
Subspace Emissary.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to talk about Subspace Emissary, but I think people like it because of the cutscenes, the actual gameplay.
How dare you, Josh?
Not great. Now, the adventure mode in Melee, though,
so good.
Exactly. That's what Subspace Emissary should have been. Instead of all of these stupid like original
And
things,
same with World of Light.
No, you're running through all of the Nintendo worlds, doing like essentially it's like a side scroller, but balanced in a way to where it's not stupid and constantly fucks you over all the time like Brawl did.
And the cutscenes from how they get to World the World is really cool.
Oh yeah, man, it was goddamn that game was so good. Melee's perfect.
As someone who doesn't play Smash like at all, I've tried and I play Donkey Kong, and he's not a good character to play as apparently.
He's
the only
great
one I
to
grab.
play the 100-man melee.
Yeah,
Just ground pound the middle.
That's the way to do it.
That's basically all I do. But coming back to dope trailers, that trailer where like Kirby's the only one to survive and he's like flying on a star trying to get away.
Yeah.
I don't play Smash. I was hyped. I was like, this is dope.
I still remember where I was when Ultimate got revealed, because I was actually at a discount tire shop because I got a nail in my tire that day. So I had to go there to get them to get a new tire on that. And I was just sitting there because that was the same day as that Direct. I'm just sitting there. I had the sound.
Here's the E3 Direct.
Yeah. And I was just sitting there like, because I had the sound just a little bit on just so I could hear it, because I didn't have headphones because I wasn't expecting to be there that day. And yeah, I just like internal hype, like see the Splatoon character with the eye, like.
I had it playing while I was at work in the office I worked at, and I should not have been watching because I was not doing any work. But and that was the same thing where it's like internal hype. I'm just sitting in my chair like wanting to freak out because it's like, oh my god, new Smash Brothers game! This looks incredible. I'm watching gameplay and finding everything I could, and just it was just.
Is the remember with Smash, like I didn't expect one to come so soon, because I know Melee and 64 had a tight like turnaround with that.
Yeah.
Like Melee to Brawl and Brawl to Wii U, like it was like a huge
Much
time
longer.
gap.
Yeah.
And so the fact that
it's like 2 years, I think, between 4 and Ultimate.
Yeah, the fact that Ultimate got announced like what 3 or 4 years after, like that was shocking. And then it came out that same year.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it was one of the only.
They announced it in the summer. It came out in the winter.
I can't remember what other Smash. I literally just saw a TikTok about it where it was one of the only 2 Smash Bros. Games that was announced and released in the same year.
I think Melee was, if I remember correctly.
I
think it's either Melee or 64. It was going to be one of the older ones.
Yep.
Yeah, Brawl got delayed a bunch. So.
Yeah.
I got because I actually pre-ordered that one, so I was pretty mad when they got delayed the last time.
I think it got delayed twice, if I remember correctly.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Melee perfect. Now, I could talk about Smash all day, and I do kind of want to push it a little more to the other one of the greatest games ever made, also on this list. One, Halo Combat Evolved.
Yes.
Which on its own took the first-person genre on consoles and completely changed everything forever.
It literally brought FPS to consoles.
So
Yeah,
so I'll like GoldenEye is important in the legacy of first-person shooters, especially on consoles. It does not age well, objectively, but Halo does, and that's the key differentiator. That's a game that you can play.
It modernized it
from now until the end of days, and it will still run and play awesome. So Halo.
Halo for me is something I would only play with my cousin because I didn't have an Xbox until the Series S. And I was blown away by how often the freaking soundtrack would pop in my head because I've like the only Xbox thing I ever played was Halo.
It's on Spotify.
And I'm just like all the time, and then you hear like the thing all the time. I'm like, what? Where is like? I'll be taking a poop, and there it is. It's in my head.
There it is.
To this day.
You sing in your bathroom? Great acoustics in there.
You're right. He's got a point. He's got a point.
It sounds just like a game.
But yeah, no, the soundtrack for Halo is probably underrated, honestly. It's super good.
And that first level when you're on the Halo, it's so good.
The silent cartographer level, if you guys remember.
Yeah.
I know Chris remembers when you're assaulting on the beach and like
because that was one of the first levels where you're actually going like in and out of structures like throughout the whole level. It was just so cool.
Yeah,
screw the flood.
Dude, I remember the first time I played the flood mission too, because like leading up to the release of the game, like they never the flood was a secret.
Oh yeah.
Nobody knew that was happening. And so you get in there, and I was playing with my buddy. Of course, I'm 28, so I would have been pretty young when I was playing this for the first time. And so I was playing co-op with my buddy, and we get in to this level, and we're like, man, this level's kind of creepy. Like I hadn't gotten that far in the game yet at this point. And then like the first time you see like the flood infection forms come out, and we're just like, what's happening? Oh my god! We're like screaming and shooting all these things, like because they always it turned into a horror game all of a sudden, and it was just man, it's
better have a shotgun.
That's probably one of the best gameplay reveal twists ever. Like you said, it was a secret. Like I remember playing that for the first time, and my cousin, who has already played through the game, was just kind of looking at me. We're playing. He's looking at me. He's waiting for me. I flipped it. I flipped my shit. I was like, no! But I literally threw the controller. I was like, no, I'm done. He's like, oh, you
It was legitimately creepy.
I had to take a break, and I was like, I need a shotgun.
Yeah, can't do that level without a shotgun.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to remember that because the flood are so synonymous with what Halo is, that it was not a common thing before the game came out, and then even people who played it later, right? It's a fantastic twist.
I also just want to kind of, and it might not, it doesn't necessarily pertain to Halo 1 as I get through it, but I mean just kind of the legacy of Halo and what it did for modern gaming, again, just like we were talking about like GTA and stuff, to where it's, I would argue that Perfect Dark in GoldenEye really showed that you could do first-person shooters on consoles, because up until that point in the 90s, that was a PC thing. You just didn't play shooters on consoles, but then Halo did it with the twin sticks, and then suddenly hey, you can play this just as well as you can on PC, and also we're going to give you these huge environments in each level, somewhere you can choose different paths and how you attack things. Just really at the time just really brilliant AI that you have to constantly switch up how you do things, especially on legendary difficulty, which was insane. But
and just the multiplayer,
and the multiplayer is where I was going with this, because one, you think LAN parties, what game do you think of? Halo. Because that's what you played at LAN parties.
Blood Gulch.
It was Blood Gulch, baby. Some of the most well-designed multiplayer maps of all time. To this day, Halo 1's multiplayer maps are still king. Blood Gulch, Beaver Creek, Hang 'em High. Come on, man.
You could have lied. You could have thrown something in there, I don't know, Logan's Trap, and I'd be like, yep, that's one.
1,000%. That's where I'm at with Halo.
Halo goes on because they're not done just changing the shape of modern gaming just in terms of gameplay. They're also going to change what online gameplay looks like, which Xbox Live drops and Halo 2 hits. What does Halo 2 bring? Matchmaking. No other games were doing matchmaking before Halo 2.
That's crazy.
Now it's synonymous with online gaming. Bungie created matchmaking. Just think about that for a second.
That's crazy.
When you played games online on the Xbox pre Halo 2, you had to go into server lobbies, just like you would playing a PC game, and pick which server that you want to go play on. If you're playing with buddies, you got to be which server are you on? Which one do I need to go join? That one doesn't have enough room, that sort of thing. Where this one, it's hey, you get into a lobby with your friends, you hit the button, and it's going to put randos in this game that you can play against for you. Games didn't do that then. It's incredible. Halo, amazing. My favorite first-person shooter game of all time still. It's just, it doesn't get better than that.
Absolutely, which makes me absolutely terrified to play Infinite. Honestly,
I'm so excited for Infinite.
I'm excited, but if that game's bad,
it's done. It's done. Yeah.
Infinite's got a lot riding on its shoulders.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although, Chris, I'm sure you've been following along with the development updates.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's looking very promising.
Good. That's good to hear.
I'm in high hopes for it.
I mean, you would be. It's on your Fantasy Critic League.
They did an audio deep dive for Infinite
Did
last
you watch
week.
the video?
Yeah, I did.
Where they just beat the shit out of a piano.
It's so good. I'm so excited.
I'm a big audiophile kind of guy, and I'm always interested, especially with Foley artists and stuff, and how they create sounds for movies and stuff. And they've been doing these, I think they're bi-weekly newsletters, just kind of talking about literally the development of Halo Infinite. And the most recent one that came out just this past week was a deep dive into the audio of the game and how they get all their stuff, how they're tweaking audios, all this stuff. And then they included a video within that article just showing how they get like a handful of sound effects that are going to be in the game, and it's literally just this 2-minute video of them beating the fuck out of a piano and like recording all of the noises that it makes. It's really cool, but then you hear a couple and you're like, oh yeah, I can see that as like a gun noise or like an alien stopping or something like that. Like it's really really cool. I can't recommend it enough.
All right. Another game I want to talk about is Paper Mario.
Yeah, dude.
I'm a huge fan of Paper Mario. I honestly I can recognize that Thousand Year Door is objectively the better game, but I just have more fondness and more love for the original. Just because, yeah, dude. Because this was like the send off, honestly, for the 64. Because it came out in the last year of its life cycle, and what Nintendo did with Paper Mario, and I think they actively go against it now, is building like unique worlds within the Mario universe and unique characters and unique stories. I don't know if you guys have ever played that game. It's not a deep game objectively in terms of the RPG mechanics, but the writing and the story and the world environments, it might be like, obviously like the primary Mario games are fantastic in terms of the gameplay and stuff, but there's something about that like the story.
The story's so good, and it's so funny.
Yeah,
like I laugh out loud like so often in all of the Paper Mario games.
Yeah, Paper Mario is fantastic. Obviously, it's hard to go back to play that unless you have a Wii U. But you can play Origami King, which is still, pretty good. It's not as good as the classics, but yeah, play Paper Mario.
Hi,
Awesome.
yeah, Austin, Waypoint podcast. Hi. I've heard really good things about Paper Mario. I almost said Origami King, but Paper Mario in general, and people tell me I've never played any of them. People tell me it's the funniest game they've ever played. Like it's like the humor is like on another level.
Yeah, the writing is hysterical.
Yeah, Paper Mario, the original, has fantastic writing. Thousand Year Door and Super Paper Mario, the writing is even better, I would say. Yeah. But if we're just talking about the first one, yeah, it's like I haven't played it in like a year or so. I wonder if I would pick up like you still pick up like innuendos and just insane kind of like references and things from that game. Yeah, and they actually humanize like Mario and Peach and like other like Toads. Like Toads have like their own agency and their own stories and their own lives, and it's not just like Toad number 872 with like the same red polka dots on their hat or head or whatever. I can't remember if it's a part of their body or not.
I think it's their head. I'm on that side, but
okay,
it's a hat apparently, right? Is it a hat?
I don't know.
People say it's a hat.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I hope it's not.
I'm gonna live in ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. It's part of their body.
Their head. I think it's their head. I'm convinced.
I just wanted to take over this topic real quick, just because I was 3 when a lot of these games came out. But the game's turning 10 this year.
We were getting to that. We're going over this.
Okay. Running out of time here. Yeah, we should probably bring that up.
Real quick, Sonic Adventure 2 turns 20 as well this year, and I love Sonic.
How is that not on the list? How is that not on the list?
It's not a good game.
The Sonic game.
The Dreamcast version.
I want to say one thing. I want to say one thing before I forget. Get back to me in 2028 because it'll be 20th anniversary of the best game ever made.
2028,
which is 2008. There's a lot of options.
Anyway,
Mass Effect 1 PC port.
No, that was 07.
That's the one.
Anyway, as Josh mentioned, there are
Sonic
also games that are turning 10 this year. So I'm just gonna read through these real quick. If anybody has anything, just stop me. Got Dark Souls.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's turning 10.
That game broke me.
You and most people.
Yep. Now this is probably a big one. I'm sure people have stuff to say. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. It's turning 10.
The game that made me get an HD TV. I remember playing Mass Effect 2, And that was I remember articles coming out of Mass Effect 2 of like people can't read the text in Mass Effect 2. I was like, I can like squint and kind of understand what's going on. And then Skyrim came out, and I literally couldn't read. And you pull up a menu, and there's like 1,000 words popping up on the screen.
Yep.
I was like, all right, going to Best Buy today.
Today's the day.
Was a moment in history.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it was literally everyone that I knew was playing Skyrim.
I had never played an Elder Scrolls game before Skyrim.
Same.
Now, see, I played the shit out of Oblivion, so I was very excited already. Yeah,
I dabbled in Morrowind, and then I played the shit out of Oblivion, like you said perfectly. You just put it perfectly. The Oblivion game. Oblivion is underrated. I love Oblivion. For the
Oblivion's
record.
very good.
I love it.
It's now on Game
But
Pass.
it's good.
There are friends that I have that play Skyrim like once a year, and they don't play games. Like that is their interpretation of video games. They play Skyrim once a year. I'm like, what? Why?
There
But they
are
love it.
people that bought next gen consoles, dropped $500 just to play Skyrim. Like,
Purchase
yep.
Skyrim again.
I
Yeah,
bought it on
exactly.
Switch. I haven't touched it.
I've been thinking
I
about
bought it on Switch.
I bought it on Switch too because it came out right when the Switch came out, and so I'm like, yeah, picking up games. Like I played, I was like, okay, yeah, did the first mission.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sonic Generations turns 10 this year.
Hey, good game.
That's an underrated
Yes.
game as well. I love that game.
I love that game. It's so good. We got Rayman Origins.
Ooh,
Great
Shut up,
game.
shut up. Never played it, but
little Rayman resurgence, man. That's what it's
Fantastic platformer. Some of the you want to talk about soundtracks? Damn, Rayman Origins soundtrack is good.
Got Portal 2.
Oh, okay. I know I said that 2028 best game ever made, but Portal 2 might not be my favorite, but that might be
It's
the
so
most
good.
perfect. That might be the most perfect video game ever made. Just saying.
I remember getting that game in high
GLaDOS's
school.
Potato.
$60, spent 60 bones on it, right? And I like wasn't working actively in high school, and so like it was like a big purchase, you know what I mean? Like only a couple games a year, and that game's like not long, right? But it was just, it's it's like a perfect video game, and so I beat it in like a weekend. I was like, that was awesome. Like no regrets playing that game.
And plus, I mean, you get 2 campaigns if you got a buddy as well. Like,
Yeah.
And
I
they're both equally great. Like there isn't like this lacks this, it's good because of this. Like they're like if you only played Portal 2, I think your opinion of Portal 2 would be exactly the same as if you only played Portal 2 like the campaign.
Yeah.
But Portal 2 is number 3 on my favorite games of all time. It's great.
Nice. Next we got Dead Space 2.
Oh, that's another banger, dude.
Mm-hmm. Got Fear 3.
Oh, I mean that game's bad, but Fear is fantastic. Fear 3 is fine.
I didn't like Fear 3.
Stay tuned for our Fear podcast starring Austin.
Hi, I'm afraid of everything.
Got-
I'm scared.
Speaking of Fear, we got Crisis 2.
Ooh.
Didn't play it.
That game, I remember that game looking incredible. Like
Yeah.
just freaking the pinnacle of like graphical fidelity and all that.
Yeah, well that's what
Yeah,
Crisis
when I got
3
my,
is. Crisis 3 is always
Oh.
the joke of.
Was it Crisis 3 maybe? I thought all Crisis games like were like looked really good.
all of them
all
are.
3 Crisis games
Okay.
were there was always a conversation every time Crisis came out. It was just like how ridiculously like, graphics intensive it was. Like when I got my first gaming like laptop, I got like an Alienware or M11X, and it's like my dad bought it for me as like a graduation present, right? And so he's like, yo, you can play Crisis on this thing. That's how good it is. You know, like that's like the bar.
Well, that's the way, like, I mean, for me, being somebody who watches like a lot of tech YouTube, like Linus Tech Tips, that's always the game for the longest time they benchmarked with was Crisis 3.
I remember watching like an hour YouTube video back in 07 of like the plants and the bushes of Crisis. Because that's how
It's
like
true. I did the same thing. I didn't even buy this stupid game.
back then yeah, I was playing on the Wii or the 360, and so like those consoles definitely couldn't touch that game. And
No.
so,
I thought Crisis 2 and 3 did come out on 360 though.
They did, yes.
They came out,
but
but
those
didn't
were, like,
have the
heavily-
power of.
Yeah, they didn't look as good, but they definitely came out on console.
Yeah, like downgraded though. Yeah.
Yep. Next we got Deus Ex Human Revolution.
this is a game I wish I played.
Yeah,
Yep.
I never played Human Revolution.
I've heard really good things about the narrative of like the original Deus Ex.
Mhm.
Apparently, that's like
I played the first
mind-bending.
Deus Ex, and that was the only one in the series I played. But
And fantastic Wii U game.
Oh, really? I wouldn't know.
We got a big one here. Batman Arkham City turns 10.
Dude, best one in the trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Brett hasn't played it.
Wait, really?
Yep.
I haven't
That's the
either.
thing. Whoa!
You're a decent guy, though.
I'm not even joking. It's fantastic on the Wii U though.
No, he's actually right.
The Game Pass support, like my friend is really into Batman, and he had a Wii U, and he was raving about the use of the gamepad with all the different gadgets and stuff for Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's all right there on the pad. You're able to switch without having to go to a pause menu.
Oh, that's
basically.
cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, there was bound to be one game that utilized that thing correctly, right?
I mean, Wind Waker HD used it pretty well too.
Yeah.
Zombie U.
All right, moving on.
And yeah, got a couple. Alice Madness Returns.
Never played
The
it.
Blob 2.
I remember that being a moment. The Alice Madness Returns thing. Like I remember going to GameStop or wherever I went to buy games as a kid, and that was all over the place.
Don't forget that was around the same time when those like Tim Burton Alice movies were coming out.
Yeah.
Those were making like $1 billion. Like remember that? That was a moment. That's insane to me. Yeah. So that was probably part of
That's on
that.
3D.
There you go.
The Blob 2. Never
Was that the
played.
Steven Spielberg game that he worked on?
I think so, right?
I don't
Wasn't
know.
it?
Couldn't
Or
tell
he
you.
was a producer or something. Yeah.
He had his name on the box. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a solid maybe.
Ooh, Bulletstorm turns 10.
underrated game, dude.
Yeah.
Bulletstorm was rad.
That's a great Spartan Kit game, man. You just suck.
Oh yeah,
It really is.
Give him the boot.
they remastered it so you could play it on PS4.
Throw them up into spikes, slow down time, and oh man, that game is awesome.
You know how like Andy Cortez's thing is like a parry mechanic and a dash mechanic? Mine might be a Spartan kick mechanic. I'm not even joking.
B button is literally a Spartan kick in Bulletstorm, and it's a first person shooter to where it's like it's a little arcadey in that it's like after you finish the level you actually get, it shows you like your score and everything and how many points you got. It's like the more creatively that you get with your kills, like the more
combos.
points you get. Yeah, and combos and stuff. It's really fun to play. Also, Steve Bloom, I believe, was the main character in that one. So that's shout out.
Chris, I think that you might be a fan of this one. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Fate of Two Worlds.
Never heard of it. Yeah, dude, I fucking love that game. Oh my god, it's amazing.
He couldn't hold it. He couldn't hold it.
I couldn't keep it in, bro. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 fucks, dude. You want to talk about some of the greatest fighting games of all time? Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is up now. Now, granted, the later re-release they did with all of the DLC, like the complete edition that they put out, where you had like the Ultimate, that's the better one for sure. At launch, it was okay. Great game after like a year. But I mean, I digress. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is Marvel vs. Capcom is always great. Fuck you. I don't know what else to say.
Then we got.
Who is that directed towards?
Yes.
Speaking of fighting games, the reboot of Mortal Kombat.
God, yeah, baby. Mortal Kombat 9. Ooh,
Yeah.
that was a good one.
Which the rebooted movie is coming out here in a couple weeks.
I'm very excited about the movie. But man, Mortal Kombat 9 coming back out too, because Street Fighter 4 I think had come out the year before, and so we were in kind of like this renaissance of classic fighting games coming back, because for years fighting games just kind of didn't really come out anymore. People were tired of them because they kept doing like incremental releases, especially Street Fighter was really bad about it.
Street Fighter 4.
Street Fighter was bad about it, and then they kept doing it with 4.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo Super Edition.
Exactly.
Aren't there like 45 different editions of 2?
There's a lot. There's a lot. And then Mortal Kombat kind of branched off into this weird like 3D fighter thing, and so 9 was significant because they were running it back to the original story. It was all of the classic characters, and then it was the old 2D like Mortal Kombat as you knew it, but made new and pretty, and they changed the mechanics around to the way they are now, where it's simplified. They brought in the X-rays. You could play as Kratos if you got it on PS3. Like I mean, it was just great game, dude. Mortal Kombat 9 fucks.
I think Mortal Kombat 9 is one of my proudest moments in gaming, because
Did he
it
trip
might
up?
it might. No, I did something dumb. I'm a moron. You gotta remember that little disclaimer. It might have even been the one after that, but there's a match where they for like the campaign or whatever you call it, where you just pin you against random
Story.
people. Yeah,
Arcade.
it has like, and you face off against Kentaru and Goro,
That's
and
yeah,
is it 9?
that's 9. Yeah.
And I did that without getting touched, and the only thing I did was jump and uppercut. That's the entirety of my strategy, and I did it without getting touched, and I popped a trophy, and it showed like 0.001% of people have this trophy, and I'm like, I need to retire right now. Also, that was one, it was pure luck, but two, Motor Combat. Have you guys heard of Motor Combat?
Yeah,
It was a
dude, Motor
little
Combat.
add-on game. I think it was on Armageddon, Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Motor Combat is like Mario Kart, but like morbid.
That's
It's
sounds
kinda cool.
vaguely familiar.
It reminded me of what was the name of the game with the is like an ice cream truck with the flaming clown.
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal. It was Twisted Metal, but Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
It was if Twisted Metal and Mario Kart had a baby.
Yeah.
It was dope. I
It was
loved it.
Interesting.
I think I played that more than I played Armageddon.
Yeah, because
Like it was a fun party game, and I would play at my friend's house. It was great.
Mhm.
All right, I got L.A. Noir.
That
Never
game's
played that
underrated.
either.
I love that game.
Yeah.
There were so many memes from that game.
I watched Fun.
I-
Does that count?
I remember I asked my mom to get that game for me, and she did. And I was like 13 at the time, maybe 12, because this was before my birthday. And I'm just like solving homicide cases with like dead women and shit like that. I'm like, oh my God. I'm a little too young to be playing this, but great game. I have it on on PS4, on PS5. I don't know why I haven't gone back yet, but I love that little.
That game, I remember being astounded by the graphics. Coming out, like, the pre-release trailers and the hype, like, because I don't even know, like they used some sort of like crazy tech, especially at that time. Tim Bondi did, right, for the facial
capture.
It was one of the first games where it stood out to me, like the motion capture and how they did all that really stood out to me. And I really think that if LA Noire doesn't happen, a lot of these AAA narrative games don't happen, just because they like took a chance to like make a movie, but like, and when people say that about a video game, people are like, okay, I don't want just a story, but they did it in a way that made it very interesting in the setting and the like detective work, and yeah, I don't know. I think it really like, cause I don't think it's a perfect game, because there's a lot of dull moments in that game, but and the main character kind of sucks. But
I'm curious to how
overall, it's a good package.
I'm curious to see how, or if the like the facial capture technology, because it's so good now, like to see how well it holds up.
Yeah, if they like remastered that, which they kind of did already, but if they like remade that, I would buy that. I'd pay $60-$70 for that.
Nice.
Yep. Dirt 3.
Play.
Got Catherine.
Oh, I love Catherine. That's the nerdiest freaking game on this planet. Oh my god, you're a dude. I think I talked about when I bought Full Body. It's like the remake, but they add new content, new story content. It's fantastic. During the night you do these puzzle games, and I don't like puzzle games all that much, but it's a puzzle game that's like challenging enough to where you're like, I know what to do now. I know I messed up. I can do it. I got this. And you're like climbing these steps, and you have to like move blocks to. It sounds dumb. It's fun, but but you, when you're not sleeping, because you only do that when you're dreaming at night, you're just hanging out with your friends at a bar and talking to Catherine, who may or may not be a succubus. This game's really old. I'm gonna spoil it, but that game, it's really good. If you go into that game with an open book, like anything can happen. And if you watch anime, it's a fucking fantastic game. Like it's 9.5, 10 out of 10 for me. It's great.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Got Battlefield 3.
Oh
Great
my
game.
gosh.
You want to talk? You want to talk
Great
about,
trailer. Great trailer.
You want to talk about like graphics benchmarks? Like,
oh yeah,
this game was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Rocksmith, Just Dance 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
My personal favorite. That was my first like video game midnight release.
Oh.
I was like, that's your first video game? How'd that make any sense? What?
I just remember the trailer with Jonah Hill. Like that's always
yes.
I think of Modern Warfare 3 was the release
I have
date
to look
trailer.
that up
Jonah
after.
Hill and somebody else.
Yeah, because that was like, I think within a couple weeks of one another, Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3 going, like, launching against one another, so they were just like,
they were really close.
Yeah.
Got
I think it might have
Lord
been like 2 weeks apart. Like it was It was
Lord of the Rings: War in the North.
underrated game. It's like a 3-person co-op, like hack and slash. The idea was that it took place, I think before or either during. I don't remember off the top of my
So
head.
the little blurb they have in here says this is a linear action RPG with split screen co-op. The game takes place at the dawn of the Second Age. Follows a different cast of heroes in the original trilogy.
It's way before, okay, but I mean, yeah, it's like you have a dwarf, a human, and an elf, and I mean, it's just you just go out and hack and slash, and it was really fun. You got like skill trees for all 3 characters. All 3 of them have different abilities and that sort of thing. It's a good time. It's not like the greatest game in the world, but it's like if you like Lord of the Rings, it's fun.
I remember Lord of the Rings, like licensed there was licensed, but you know what I mean. Like those type of licensed games were always like the standouts back in the day. Because licensed games, like when I was like growing up, weren't that good. They were like ripoffs, like just money
tie-ins.
They're just trying to get money like that. There's an Iron Man game for Wii that I remember my dad bought me, and I was like, oh no, oh no, that game's terrible.
But War in the North too. Part of its whole like marketing scheme was that it was really violent and brutal because it was coming out like like God of War was big, and you had all these like over-the-top action games and stuff, and so they made a big deal out of like showing that just like cutting off like heads and limbs and that sort of thing. Like it's just like the movies, and it's really, like dicing up the orcs. Like, it's fun.
Clip that quote out, but it just felt like they weren't cheap. Where a lot of the other licensed games were just cheaply made in like 6 months.
Yeah, they were actually. There's a lot of was not. Them. Yeah.
Got Dragon Age 2. Nice. It's 10 years old.
Brad's favorite game.
Yeah, we already talked about it.
Yeah.
Underrated. It's a great game. Underrated. Yeah, go play it if you can.
Yeah. Homefront.
Oh my gosh! Homefront. That was like one of the first games. Sorry, Austin. That's so funny that you mentioned that, because my cousin, who I game with a lot, is really into like the Battlefield series, and so Homefront was made by the Battlefield developers, or it had some kind of connection with Battlefield to some extent. I remember. And there was hype around Homefront before it came out and when it came out, because it was a Battlefield style game with that, classic like alt history kind of like story hook. And I picked it up. Campaign's like 3 hours, and the multiplayer is not as great.
We don't talk about it.
Developed by THQ and Deep Silver. Deep Silver corresponded to create Man Eater.
Did it have
and
some
Saints
sort of
Row?
Like,
Saints Row and Metro,
which is also on the list.
Island.
Were there any Battlefield devs related to, or is that maybe that was just like my cousin trying to sell me on it that it was like that?
Can I just say, of all the games we've talked about, the one to get the reaction, I did not think.
I was not expecting that. No.
Here's the thing: is I haven't thought about Homefront in literally 10 years. So when
it was like a Jimmy Neutron brain
brain
blast,
brain blast,
because the
brain blast.
The pitch for that game is so compelling. Like in all history, like where North Korea somehow like is able to take over. It's like because I remember the story is like they use like some real world example of like rare earth metals with like that people are used for like making phones, and like somehow Korea got like the jump on that, and it was really compelling.
That's crazy. It went on to make Dead Island, Shenmue 3, Saints Row.
Saints Row underrated as well. Saints Row.
I love Saints
Row. Homefront has a cool cover too, with like the North Korean flag like bandaged, like blindfolding that guy.
Those types of games have never been my thing, but I remember I don't remember like specific things, but I remember watching a trailer for Homefront and being like, I might give this a go. I'm glad I didn't, but
yeah.
Got Duke Nukem Forever.
Hell yeah, let's fucking go.
Okay, I have never played this game. I've never played this game, but it was one of the first games that I remember watching a Let's Play for, because I was like, I need to see what this game is about. I'm not buying this stupid ass game, but I have to see what this is about.
Yep.
So yeah,
it's awful.
There's like Master Chief armor, and Duke Nukem's like, that shit's for pussies.
Yeah.
wait. Is this the guy who's like, oh, what is it? I need to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Yeah.
Something like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
I want a redemption for Duke Nukem just because it's so hard. Like if somebody pulled that off, that'd be like
Can you-
incredible.
Yeah.
The next character for Smash is announced and it's Duke Nukem.
His final Smash is him throwing a bunch of singles on strippers.
I got PlayStation Now last year during quarantine, and this game was one of the PS3 games you can play. So my
Don't tell
roommate
me.
and I ripped a bowl, and we played the beginning. And in the beginning, there's this
Sounds like a good
like a
time.
section where they're like, Duke Nukem, like we need a plan to take down this robot. Like and it lets you draw on the whiteboard a plan, and we're just drawing boobies. And the guy's like, "That's a great plan, Duke." And we're just like, "There's a big dick on this whiteboard that we're drawing."
That's awesome.
I almost cried. I got there.
Duke Nukem, great game.
We got the whoa moment on Homefront, and I almost cried for Duke Nukem. Can we move on, please?
Yep. Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Okay,
Fuck,
that's
underrated
fine.
one.
I liked Revelations a lot, man. I thought
I
that
did
was
too.
great
Is that the one?
Yes.
Is that the one where
Who's in the middle?
Desmond dies?
No, that's
That's 3.
That's the 3. Okay.
That's the one after
This is
that.
the one before that. Yeah. This is
Revelations
the
was-
Spoilers, bro.
Revelations is the last game where you get to play as Ezio. He's an old man. You get the hook blade and
Oh yeah,
and,
that's black suit.
Uh-huh.
It's
Ezio,
like
but
great. Yeah.
that was the only game I ever played like in one sitting. That was like you don't play this game in one sitting. Like I played short games in one sitting, but I played like 9 hours straight of that game because I wanted to know what happened to Desmond.
Mhm.
It had my favorite thing in the Assassin's Creed games, which is every now and then you would just have to stop doing whatever you're doing and go play a shitty tower defense minigame.
Yep.
I
I remember that. We never saw that again. Wonder why.
That's the thing, but they
Thank
actually did
God.
have a really cool mechanic because they had always introduced like little mechanics in each one of the Assassin's Creed where they had the bombs. And you could craft like tons of different bombs and you could actually like combine all the different recipes together to make new ones and stuff. And I thought that was really cool, and I was sad that that never came back. Also, shout out to the hook blade.
Yeah.
As Joss mentioned earlier, Saints Row the Third is also on this list.
I love
Great
it.
game. Great
Underrated.
game.
Shout out to the Destroyer, aka the dildo sword.
Yes.
The
1000%.
dubstep gun. The dubstep gun.
This was
That's an I think 4.
I think that was the fourth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This was a-
I could have swore that was in 3 too, but
this was the first game that really got out of GTA's shadow, right? Because I remember
Oh, yeah.
1
Yeah.
and 2 were like
2 was like a
GTA.
clone.
One and two were basically GTA, and the third one they were like, you know what, fuck it. My favorite thing
You're
about
right.
one of my favorite things about Saints Row the Third is the character creation at the beginning. You
Mhm.
kind of make a character, whatever, and then you get to pick a voice for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, male 1, male 2, male 3, and then at the very bottom it just says Nolan North.
That's 4.
That's
Was that 4?
That's 4.
Damn it.
Yeah. The third one, the option. Fourth is great because fourth is literally just the third with superpowers.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I think it going so hard into the wacky zany portion
Mhm.
just did wonders for that game, like that franchise, and I want it to come back. And we got the remaster of 3 last year,
So
and I
good.
played through that. That holds up. That moment where you like
Mhm.
skydive into a
With Kanye's
like,
power.
penthouse. Yes, 1,000%. One of the best video games moments.
Yes.
Fucking
Yes.
nips just hard. It's just oh my god. The licensed music in that game also slaps. It's just oh
I
my
might have
god.
I might have made this up, but I could have swore in one of the GTA games there's like a hidden thing on like a computer where you can play parts of Saints Row 2. I might have made this up,
I
but
think you did make that up.
I know it was a one, I know it was at least a rumor, and 2, I
Mhm.
swear I have a memory of doing it. But I could have
Mhm.
just been me watching the video and I'm remembering.
We
it
need to
wrong.
go to 4chan, guys. We need to
gotta
find
figure
out.
it
Hit
I
it.
know it was a rumor. I am positive about that, but whether it was real or not, I have no idea. No
Okay.
idea.
Just so we can get out of here real quick, gonna skip around a bit. So we're gonna
Please.
those were a lot of the multi-platform games. So now we're going to more console exclusive. So PlayStation, you have Infamous 2
Dope game.
and
Great
game.
Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception.
Great game.
The game-
Yeah.
Uncharted 2 is better, but Uncharted 3 is
1,000%.
great.
I might be in the 3 camp on that one.
Yeah, I agree there.
Same.
It's one of those
I
things
like
where
the story of 2 better, but I think the gameplay is better in 3.
Well, that's not
Yeah.
really a fair comparison though, because it was later. But yeah, I understand. I feel like it's like any day of the week. Like you can get someone who likes 2 more, someone who likes 3 more, someone
Yeah.
who likes 2 more. Like it's
1000%.
back
For
and
me-
forth.
I
They're
kind
both
of flip
fantastic.
flop. I like them both a lot.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
both fantastic.
For me,
It-
the
like-
resolution to 3 is stronger than 2. Like the
Mhm.
villain
I'll
in
give you
2 like is just
I'll give you
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
you might have me convinced. I might like 3 more.
I think
I've-
Uncharted 2 has the best opening to any video game ever.
I
You're,
agree.
like,
Yeah.
hanging from a mountain
Oh,
on that
yeah.
train or something. I'm like, what the fuck?
Mhm. Well, I don't know if you heard me earlier. In Duke Nukem, you can draw boobs on a board in the opening of the game. You can also
You had to bring it
a bird
back.
out of a toilet and just
He had to bring it back.
Yep.
right.
Moving on.
Yeah. So actually, just real quick, you guys saying it could go either way. That reminded me of like a conversation we had previous episode talking about Iron Man movies. I forgot to mention, I've been going back and watching the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And just real quick, so last night, or I started Iron Man a couple weeks ago, and just I've been so busy I haven't been able to watch much. So last night I watched Hulk, and honestly, it's not the best, but it's not bad.
It's better than you think.
It
That's
really
what I
is.
always tell people.
And
I legitimately don't like it.
so, just going back this time around, I actually noticed a couple things I didn't see or didn't notice before. It was in the factory when he is when he first changes in the movie for the first time to Hulk. He was just like the "leave me alone" in the super deep voice. I didn't realize that he spoke that before. I thought the first time he spoke was the Hulk smash at the end of the movie. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I didn't realize they name dropped his shield when they're looking for him, when they're trying to track him. But then
I remember someone
thought
telling me
you were-
that. Someone told me that's the only reason to watch that because they mentioned Shield. I was like,
Yeah, pretty much.
First superhero to
RPGs, yeah.
put a sweatshirt and ball cap on as a disguise. MCU started that trend.
That's-
And
That's
then
not
also
validating.
you get to see Tim Roth like kick a dude into a tree.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's pretty rad. Like,
well, no, it's the other way around.
I thought-
Hulk.
Yeah,
Hulk's
Tim Roth
Tim
gets
Roth.
fucking
Dude,
punched.
I'm sorry. You get to see Tim Roth get launched into a tree. That's it. Yeah.
That scene is so bizarre. He literally walks up to the Hulk and like challenges him. Like,
Yeah,
Oh my
the,
God.
the most
just
like
kicked him.
balls, the most balls on a man I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Freaking Hulk in front of you, he's just like, what's up? No.
yeah. But then today, I watched Iron Man 2,
The best
It
one.
is.
and I'm in that camp. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah! Let's go!
Iron Man 2, best Iron Man
We
movie.
converted him.
I will say this. I would watch Iron Man 2 over 3.
Ah,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's the definition of best in the series. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Iron,
Like,
Iron Man 1 is still better, but yeah.
Iron Man.
Anyway.
See, I'm low on all the Iron Man movies, but the best one is 1.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Amazing.
stay tuned while I keep everybody updated with. So right now, my MCU ranking: Iron Man 2, Iron Man 1, Hulk.
Hell
Wow.
fucking yeah.
yeah, dude, Iron Man 2, best one.
Yeah,
Can't believe you, Bob. I can't.
yeah.
Can't do it.
Welcome to the right side of history.
I was just about to say that. Took the words right out of my mouth.
If that's the right side, I want to be wrong. Let me tell you. Ooh,
Wow. You
Okay.
know who else was on the wrong side of history? Not gonna
Whiplash.
say
So going to
I got whiplash from that opinion.
the 360 exclusives from 10 years ago, Gears of War 3.
Dude, a fantastic game, man. That
Great
was
game, dude.
that's honestly like Gears 4 and 5 are great, but 3 was well, you don't like Gears 4 and 5.
Three was the end of an era.
It really did. It really did feel like that the end of that generation. The story like was fantastic. It really felt like it summed up Marcus's main arc.
Which
in that,
one?
like,
Which one brought in horde mode?
2.
Okay, that's the one I remember playing. and
3
genuinely
refined it.
liking.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was
Three- I
very
played one
good
and-
in 3.
I played 1. I played 2. That was it.
Yeah, 3 was fantastic. Yeah, the story was great.
Fantastic, yeah. Co-op campaign, like it was dope.
4-player this time. 1
Yeah.
and 2 were only 2. This one expanded it to 4. They did that awesome save Carmine or kill Carmine.
Yeah,
campaign
man, that's
before the game
right.
Came out because they killed a Carmine brother in 1 and 2, and then you could decide the fate of the third one in 3, which is super dope. Great multiplayer too, just regular multiplayer. Fantastic maps, game modes.
All I
content,
remember
like,
from this
so much
game
content.
is being Coltrane, I think, and chainsawing fools.
I mean, yeah,
That's all I
that's
remember.
the
That's it.
experience right there. It's
That's
beautiful.
literally all of Gears of War.
I mean,
That's what you
it's
want.
cool.
You know, yeah.
It's dope.
What more do you want in a Gears of War game?
Can we just deem 2011 the year of threes? Like
Yeah,
Battlefield
a lot of
3,
threes.
Modern Warfare 3, Saints Row 3, like Fear 3.
Yeah, that's true.
Gears
War 3.
3.
You don't have to
Threes.
throw fear in there. It's fine.
Oh, we're tossing it
Too
a
late,
bone,
it's already
honestly.
there.
We're
Yeah.
giving it just a pity throw.
Also, Mass Effect 2's PS3 port was 2011. Just wanted to
There you go.
toss it in there.
There you go.
Wow.
There it is, 10
Um,
years old.
Worst game of 2011. There it is.
Got Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword.
This man likes snack. So take it away.
Yeah, get out.
So I have the only valid opinion on this panel.
Yeah.
Okay, so you brought up Zelda.
Yes.
Good game. It's a good game.
It really
Which one?
is. Skyward
It's
Sword.
not bad. People hate on
Skyward
it.
Sword sucks, dude.
I will be the
Skyward Sword is dog shit.
I'll be the final
Chris-
say when this Switch port comes
I was
out.
gonna say, who's gonna play the Switchboard? Because I haven't played.
No.
Like-
Part of the experience is playing it on Wii with really bad motion tracking. But also, I mean, my point stands because the reason I don't like it is because they have you retread the same goddamn boss like 8 times in a game that's supposed to be known for good boss design, and then story awful.
You love Halo 1, and Halo 1 has the library, so I don't want to hear it.
Is that playing the same boss 5 times throughout the point of the game?
It's only
not.
3. It's only 3.
It's-
I don't know
Whatever,
what
it's
he's
bad.
referencing. I have a bad memory, but take
Um,
that.
Imprisoned, I'm sure, is what he's referencing.
and then I just have one word for you, Faye.
Fee. But yeah.
Whatever. Terrible.
I have one word for you.
Dog
I
shit.
forgot.
I'm excited.
I'm overplaying it. It's not terrible. I didn't like it very much. It didn't do much for me. The music's really good. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I'm excited to give it a because I never beat it. I only got like 30%.
Because it wasn't a good game. It's boring. The story was bad.
Well, I'm trying to save the Galaxy man from the Reapers back then. But
Yeah, you were playing a fun game.
What else? What else is on this Steam
Yeah.
list?
So I'm just kind of So now next we got some indie games. I'm gonna go through a couple real quick. Terraria. Got
Oh wow. That just got-
Bastion.
Bastion's so good.
Bastion's good.
Yeah. And then Minecraft. So it's technically released in 2011. It was early access in 2009.
Holy shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
Was that 360?
Minecraft and Terraria officially released in the same year?
2011.
Wow.
Mhm. And then
That is
Yeah.
interesting because I would have if you would have asked me like yesterday like if
Because
you
it
would've
was
made me
it was
guess,
early access for such a long time, but I mean
you
Yeah.
made me guess
2 years.
Terraria came out like years after Minecraft.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's wild. But I mean, it's like when it officially came out, did that come with a console release or was it still PC exclusive at that point?
It doesn't say.
I think
If
it
it
came out on 360.
Because
I was gonna
I
say-
think it launched in 360 that like when it was done.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the
1.0.
first
That would make sense.
port,
Yeah, that would
and-
make sense.
And I remember buying it, and it was a big deal buying it on 360.
Yeah,
I
I
just
bought
remember
it.
people playing it on
2011.
PC forever, and they're like, "This is the reason to play only on PC." Blah blah blah. And then it came to Xbox, and I'm like,
Yeah, fuck you. If you played on PC though, you had like earlier access to updates and stuff. But I mean, it was still it was on console, and I mean, my friends and I we all had like a server in the house that I lived in because there were a bunch of us that lived in the house at the time, and we just
also,
Also-
Minecraft indie game.
just send it.
That's incredible.
Wild, right?
That's incredible.
Not anymore, but I mean,
Not
what?
anymore, yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and the last one I'm gonna mention for the DS,
Pretty good.
Pokemon Black and White.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pokemon Black and White are so good.
It's so good.
10 years old.
I
That's
didn't.
crazy.
I didn't like it.
Real quick, 3DS came out in 2011 too. So
Yep.
Ocarina of Time 3D, all that kind of stuff. Was
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Kid Icarus.
Mario Kart 7.
Mario Kart 7, dude. That's
Mario
a
Kart 7 was
fantastic-
good.
a
Yeah.
fantastic Mario Kart.
Although you had to download the patch or else you'd get a hard crash.
True, yeah.
I never
There's
played
one
shit
track, I
out
can't
of that.
remember which one, but
That
Kingdom Hearts
balloon.
Dream Drop Distance also would have come out 10 years ago too. Yeah.
Good game. Good game.
Honestly, yeah,
Stand
I
by
like
it.
Dream, I like 3D a lot.
It's one of the best traversal games for like a handheld. Loved it.
Well, I mean, it was crazy to finally play like a fully fledged like console style Kingdom Hearts game on handheld. Like, I mean, it really was like it played just like the other games, and then they added mechanics on top of that. Like, yeah, the
Yeah.
free
Real
flow, movement. Very cool.
Dope.
And yeah, so we will have a link to this Reddit thread that we're looking at in the description, so you can take a look at all the games we did not mention, just because this is a very long episode.
Yeah.
And with that, so this episode's coming to a close. Thank you guys so much for watching, sticking through with this. We appreciate you. Please give a like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what your favorite game from 10 or 20 years ago was. If you would like to email us your thoughts on mental health or being a content creator and burnout, email us at waypointpodcast@gmail.com, and we will see you at the next Waypoint.